What's up, man?
What's going on?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Perfect.
Can you guys hear me?
Mic is good. Nice. So I got it set up today with my laptop too. I logged into my other Instagram account and I'm watching the live so I can see what everyone's saying a little bit better than looking at my phone because
Cool.
usually that's a pain in the butt.
No, for sure.
All right, guys. So for everybody tuning in tonight, we are going to be breaking down pretty much the whole breeding process, how we pick what pairs we're going to put together, the sizes and everything that what we feed them, how we take care of them, and then shipping them. Pretty much everything you need to know
What's going on, guys?
in the process from when they're born to shipping them out, and our experiences with everything like that. So we'll start off. I'll let you start off. What do you usually, because we know G-Stripe's your favorite, but when you're looking to put a pair together, what do you usually look for?
So the biggest thing for me is size. So and that's even when I'm buying different dragons, even babies, juveniles, adults. Me personally, I like to sacrifice color for size and just overall the look of the dragon than colors. A lot of people would rather get the runt just because he's like super colorful, but for me, I like just nice meaty dragons. You know what I mean? So that's something that I definitely look for, in especially future breeders, and as well as temperament. Sometimes too, you have some dragons that are just kind of mean, and um, some of them are super cool. And then as well as just head structure is a big thing for me as well. So yeah, I would just say size, temperament, and then head structure. That'd be my three things that I look for
All
with
right.
pairs.
Yeah, usually honestly, when I'm trying to put like a pair together, usually I have some type of project. So I know you don't have any whiplets, but like um right now I'm trying to make my own hets this year since last year didn't turn out that great. We got my male wit paired up with a female, so I'm going to be producing some I'm actually going to put them with two females, so that I could have two sets of hets unrelated by mother. But for the most part, what I look for is I'm trying to get the most amount of genetics into the dragon. At the end of the day, that's going to be where the money is.
For sure.
Um, not that I'm breeding just for money, but when you want to pay the bills at the end of the day, there's always those side projects that are like your love. And that for me that is the whiplets. I want the patternless red, but
Like color
you
widths, yeah.
definitely want to try to get, or not, you don't necessarily, or anybody else, but I try to get as much genetics into the clutch as possible, so you have a better outcome of hitting something, really special.
Yeah.
Uh, the more genetics obviously you get in there, you could have, trans, hypo, and then like a wit zero would be like the number one to hit if you could get all those. That's not necessarily what I go after, but I do try to get translucent and hypo into everything that I'm working with, just because that brings out, a lot of what
Everybody wants.
highlights,
Yeah.
what we're doing, trying to get more bright citrus colors, trying to get more oranges, more reds. The hypo obviously helps with that, the translucent obviously helps with that. um,
For
but
sure.
like you said, size, some dragons I won't ever breed. If they're too small, that's pet quality, that's not breeder
For sure.
quality. So I wouldn't even look at something that isn't able to hit a decent size of 18 inches and 450 grams.
For sure.
Anything smaller than that, more than likely, unless she's short and real chunky,
Yeah.
like 12, 16 inches. But for the most part, I only want big dragons. There is a difference between a breeder quality and a pet quality. Uh, when you're breeding, they don't always have to look great. Like you see some people's pairs, and it'll be like a het hypo, het trans, het wit blitz, and it looks like a
And it's normal.
normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then all of a sudden, and you breed it with another normal, and all of a sudden, you see all these amazing dragons come out of it, and you're like, what the hell? How did that
Yeah.
happen? Well, that's genetics. So you try to get as many genetics as you can into
That right.
what you're breeding. At the end of the day, is where your paycheck is going to come from. Color is cool, but you know anybody can breed for color. Color is line breeding, so you literally like anybody could buy a red dragon and a red dragon and breed those.
Wait,
Um,
but explain what line breeding is.
so
Explain
line breeding.
line breeding and inbreeding because people get those
Oh
confused.
yeah. So inbreeding obviously is
Or in
breeding a mother or a father to like their offspring, and you never want to do that. Line breeding is just picking out from the litter which one is more red than all the other ones, and you breed that to another one that is more red. You know, you breed two of the most red dragons you can get together to
yeah,
produce more red in your clutches, which is line breeding. It has nothing to do with inbreeding. It's not bad. It's just something that people do for color. It's not necessarily for genetics. You don't line
yeah.
breed for genetics.
They're not
Um,
and they're not related. The biggest
Not
thing people
related
don't
at
do,
all.
they're not
Yeah, yeah.
related. Like I could have a dragon that I produce that's red, and then he can have a dragon that I produce that's red, and they're not related. And if we breed the two reddest together, that's line breeding. People are like,
Because
"Oh, you mean
all we're
inbreeding?"
trying to get
No,
is more red.
more
At the
red.
end
Yeah,
of the day, we're just trying to get more red. It has nothing to do with the structure of the dragon. It has nothing to do, like he said, he likes head structure. So when you're line breeding, you don't care about any of that. All you care about is specific uh, traits that they naturally occur already. They have nothing to do with genetics necessarily. So that's color and maybe like blue bar pattern. I don't know
yeah.
if that's been considered a genetic trait or just
I
something
don't
that naturally occurs that you can line breed. Um,
know because I kind of have a project of that right now. The babies that I have available now, the father had zero blue bars, like none. The mom had blue bars. And some of these babies, you would think like they're from Kids and Dragons because I mean, not that nice, but their bars are just completely different than the moms. Like there's so much more than the moms, and it's just like how, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things where it's like maybe there is something you can just kind of like a dominant gene that you only get
yeah,
one parent, kind of similar, but not exactly.
yeah, no. So I don't know if blue bars have like been proven to be like a genetic trait or something that is that you can line breed. So I'm not gonna
Say that.
for sure put draw the line in the sand on that one. But line breeding is just trying to get, more color into your dragons, not necessarily worried about traits and stuff. Genetic traits like translucent, hypo, whip blitz, zero, dunner, like you're not so much worried about all that.
What's going on?
Ah, so obviously at the end of the day, we want to make the best dragons we can get out of a clutch. So I'm trying to put the best of the best into the clutch from the beginning. Like what do they say over at mutation creation? Quality in, quality out. So you start with great dragons, um, good genetics, good bloodlines. That's what you're gonna end up breeding out, and that's what you're gonna produce is good bloodlines, good genetics. Um, Now starting off babies, how do you like let's start with hatching. Like I mean not hatching, when you take them out of the sand, when you're putting them in like
What do
your
you mean?
incubation. So what do you use for your media to incubate them and then
Oh. I was like, what do you mean sand? So this
well
season
actually
coming up,
hold on, let me stop you. So you said sand. What do you actually put in the cage for your bearded dragons to lay the eggs in? Because I use calcium sand.
I use a mix between sand and organic topsoil. It's like a it I don't know. For me, it clumps up really nice, and So when my female's digging in her cage or whatever, and I see that she's full of eggs, whatever, what I'll do is I'll put a piece of plastic that goes like this, like that, like almost like a tunnel. It's like that in one side, and then I'll pack dirt around it, so that way she already has a tunnel that she typically doesn't need to even dig, and she'll kind of dig around in there and kind of form her own thing, and then that way when it comes to her like depositing her eggs, all I have to do was just pick up that little container, and all her eggs are in that container. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like I don't know. I started doing it because I got tired of squishing eggs because she packs them so tightly. I got tired of trying to get the eggs out because they would pack them down so hard, and that's what works for me. And then when it comes to once they're out of the sand, I use vermiculite, just basic vermiculite. And then this season I'm gonna do vermiculite on the bottom, and then pure light on top, and then put the eggs. So that way when the eggs hatch, they don't get full of vermiculite.
Nice. So, hopefully this year I can score some sim containers when they come back into stock. Uh, if I
Yeah,
can,
I've never used those.
that'll be the way I go this year if I can scoop some. If not, the ways I've gone in the past is, like I said, I use calcium sand and I just get it real wet. Because usually my females honestly will dig for a day or two before they deposit their eggs somewhere, so they just
Yeah, they do.
tear up their little box. And then I usually will put like a little camera on their thing, so I at least know where they laid them,
Yep.
like a little Wi-Fi camera that you could just stick on. And then, yeah, I'll collect the eggs. Usually I just put them on perlite with water gel cubes. So, like, I'll mix that water gel cube for, like, insects, how they eat it or whatever, and I'll mix that with the perlite so that it stays moist. I never have to add water, nothing. That I
Have you thought
literally
about?
just,
Have you? I mean, you mean water crystals?
yeah, yeah, water
Okay.
crystals.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I said.
I mix the water crystals with the vermiculite, and I don't even add water, not vermiculite, to the perlite, and I don't even add water to the perlite. I just use the water crystals, mix that all up, and then I put my eggs in them. And it worked all last year great for me. I seen someone like a commercial product that was doing the same thing. I was like, man, I could do this. This is easy. So that worked for me all last year.
Vermiculite, just straight up vermiculite.
Yeah, so vermiculite's the brown stuff, perlite's the white stuff, guys. So for
Yep.
those of you that don't know, and you guys are like, what are they talking about? Perlite's the white stuff. You
Or
really don't.
it's called hatch right. I think people call it, or maybe it's another form
So
of it.
so hatch rat I think comes already like pre-moistened and everything. Like that's ready to go out of the bag. You just get the whole bag and pour it in there, and you put the eggs in straight in there. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. I didn't use it. I don't use it. I thought that was the whole concept of hatch rat was it was ready to go in the bag.
Oh, maybe I don't know. Like I said, I'm kind of old school with certain things, and I like just straight up vermiculite. But this year, I'm gonna put a layer of pure light because this year, oh my god, the babies were coated in vermiculite. So I think to kind of battle that, put pure light on top because it's more of like a foamy. I don't know, how do you describe pure light? It's like
Yeah, I don't know. It's like sandy though. It's like gritty and foam. Yeah, it's I don't know.
but
It's
it's not dusty and fine like vermiculite is. You know what I mean? It's not
yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm trying to describe it, but I think it'll help when it comes to getting all the stuff off of them. I don't know. I think it'll be easier for me this year, but I'll give it a
And
try.
it's bigger chunks, so it's like granulated and
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know. Um,
for sure.
but I also seen some little things that weren't from sim container, but they hold the eggs above. I might try some of those too if I can't get some
Oh,
of the
they're
sim
like
boxes.
little grates.
But hopefully I'm trying, yeah, like a little grate that goes over. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to score some of those this year. I've seen a lot of people using them. I've seen a lot of good reviews on it. A lot of people like them, so I'm hoping that that is the way I can go this year. Um, and I'll let you go over the incubator because you did a cool little DIY. I don't even want to show you guys what I used last year, so we'll just let you go over the nice little
It's all
DIY you
right.
had.
I used to use those, the little $40, $50 ones. They're for like chickens. They're, I don't know what you call them, but yeah, that's what I used to use. I forget what they're called, but yeah, they just sit up there and collect dust now.
I got
The
one of
new one
those
that I
too.
got, and they actually work though when you're in a pinch. I actually just turned off the incubator because I shouldn't have any more eggs in a couple of in this month, and I turned it off. But yeah, so it's a wine fridge. I got it on Facebook Marketplace for like $50. It's a pretty nice size. I have different layers and stuff. Everything is now it's a storage container, but it has racks. I got these little food trays that I got from a cousin of mine. They're just like when you like order food or whatever. And then I got a thermostat for it. I gutted everything out, put 12-inch heat tape on it, and that's it. I mean, very very simple. You can see the heat tape kind of. The lights are off, but you kind of see the heat tape.
And the water
And I think
bottles are to keep up the humidity.
no, so the water bottles are so they're on the heat tape. So whenever I open up the container, all that warm air comes out. But as soon as I close it, it helps just bring the temperatures back up to where they need to be. That's just how I do it, and it's worked for me. And I think I got this made for like $150 with the thermostat, so that's not bad at all. Thermostat was like $80. The heat tape was like $20, I think, and then the wine cooler was $50. So whatever that boils down to, it's like 140 or $50, something like that.
Nice. Yeah.
It's held almost 100 eggs this season, so and I could have probably held another 100 more, probably, I would say.
definitely gonna have to invest into an incubator this year with as many males as I'm putting with females and females that are getting bred. The Exoterra that I was using, uh, yeah, shameless plug right there. The Exoterra I was using definitely is not gonna hold. So I've already
And they're
talked to Dragon
like
Haas.
$150.
Yeah, bro. Well, so I think I got mine like off like Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, which usually most people would probably say it wouldn't even work, but thankfully it did work. So when I got it home, plugged it in, everything was good. I think I paid like $70 or $60 for it.
Not bad.
No, and it did its job, so that's all that really matters. But this year we got big plans. So I already talked to Dragon Haas. We're gonna have to put something in,
Oh,
get
an
a little,
incubator?
yeah. So I got I got some arboreal cages coming from him, and
For your
we're
mom?
gonna, yeah, for the mangrove monitors.
Nice.
Uh, I want to get them out of the glass ones that I have. I feel like it help them calm down a lot with, having the three sides, not see-through glass. I think they calm down a little bit. One of them's like super psycho. One of them's pretty chill. Um, but so when I first got them, the guy told me it was like a rescue type thing, dude. This guy was like, "Yeah, bro, they're super tame." I was like, "All right." So I went and checked him out, and
No
he
heat.
he lost one of them, so he didn't even know where one of them was. And I was like, "Oh, all right, man. Well, I mean, I guess I'll take the one that you do have." And he pulls it out, and it was in a tote, cold, bro. So I
Holy
was
heck.
like, "Oh my lord!" So he ended up finding the other one a couple days later. So I ended up taking them both. But he was like, "Yeah, they're tame," and I'm like, oh, "All right, cool, Bro, I put them under some warm light. These guys were
Night and day.
psychos. You
Yep.
put your hand in there, they'd run up your arm, tear you up. Not to mention because they got
Yep.
sharp ass claws.
Yep.
So slice you up real quick and then be gone. You're chasing this thing all over my reptile room. So
Yeah,
I've been working with
that's a
them.
big trend for Savannah monitors too. He's so
Yeah.
cuddly at night. I'm like, what's his temperature? It's 100. I'm like, oh, there you go.
Yeah, people that pull them out and like cuddle with them in bed and stuff and have them chilling with them on the couch. I'm like, dude, your house probably is not warm enough for them. You're probably stressing poor reptile out. I don't know what you guys have, but you're probably stressing them out, chilling on
My
the
Savannah
couch with them.
monitor, dude, I gave him a bath today, and he is a psychopath. Literally, I get closer and closer and closer to getting bit whenever I handle him. He's probably 2, 3, 2.5 foot. Savage. That man is a savage.
So, you know the peach throw I recently picked up, right?
Oh yeah, how is he doing?
He's doing good. His tail's cleared up a lot. But so when I got him from the shop, he was pretty chill. I mean, he was a little crazy, but it was expected.
Yeah.
Um, so he calmed down or whatever. But last night I was going to handle him, and I had some leather gloves. Dude, he came at me all crazy on his back feet like a raptor, with his mouth open, running on his back feet like trying to get me. But no, once you get him in your hands and you start handling him a little bit, he super calms down. But now that he's like in a decent dude, I swear he was in a 18 by 18 by 3 feet, and you saw him. He's 3 feet long,
Yeah, he's
so no
pretty big.
matter which way he turned, his ass and face were hitting glass at the same time. He was pretty, you know. So yeah, he's doing a lot better. We got him in a what is it, a 4 by 2 by 2, and he's much happier.
No, for sure. And they don't. How big do they get fully grown?
Honestly, not much more than like 4 feet and maybe 2 pounds.
Because they're all tail, right? That's what it is.
Yeah, they got really badass blue tails, and then their arms and legs, I guess, are all blue too, blue spotted. They're
Yep.
black and blue spotted, and then they got the pretty black and yellow down the back, kind of like the mangrove monitor, but the mangrove
Yep.
monitor is obviously all black and yellow.
Yeah, those are dope too.
All right, so let's move on. Once the bearded dragon is hatched, the
What
happiest
do you
day of
do?
your life, but also can be the scariest day. You're like, what do I do? Sometimes it happens earlier than expected, sometimes a little bit later than expected, and then you get really worried, especially when it's your first clutch.
Yep.
I remember I had one clutch go till 70 days, and I was so worried about it. And then one night, literally the night before they hatched, I was like in there looking at them. I had my light on it, and I went to go put the lid back on the container, and it dropped literally like half an inch to the table. I had it above, and all the perlite went all moving around, and the eggs
Oh,
kind of rolled, and I'm like, oh my god, I just killed everything. I literally just killed everything. Like, I've been so impatient with this clutch.
it
It's
probably woke them up though.
day 69. I'm so scared that they weren't gonna hatch, and now I'm even worse wreck because I think I just killed them.
Killed
And
everybody.
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my lord. So next morning I wake up, and I was so thankful. I had like 5 out of 8 babies out of that container hatched, and a few out of the other container, and I was like, oh, thank you, thank you. I did not kill them. Just like a day before they were gonna hatch, and they were all almost ruined it all. So
Probably
definitely
woke
be
them up though.
patient.
Yeah, you probably woke
Yeah,
them up though with that drop.
yeah. Unfortunately, a rude
No, yeah, but
awakening.
yeah, patience and they're not like ball pythons. You don't cut bearded dragon eggs. A lot of people are like, why don't you just cut them? I'm like, no.
Yeah, definitely don't cut them.
Yeah,
If
don't
if they
mess with
don't
them.
come out themselves, they're probably not ever gonna make it. So be patient with them. 60 to 85 days, guys. It depends like what your climate is. If you're keeping your incubator, high 70s, low 80s, like 81, 80, you might have, a longer incubation period. A little bit warmer, 82 to 85. You might have, a shorter incubation period than some other people. So just take that into consideration. Be
Yep.
patient with it, because you definitely don't want to ruin, all your hard work that you put in being patient, checking on the eggs all the time. Learn from my mistakes. Don't drop your shit on the table.
No, for sure. And I think my first clutch, one of them was like out, and he was out by like his head was out, and he just never came out. And after like 3 days of him, I'm like, is he dead? Is he alive? And like I like try to help him out of the egg, and yeah, he was just dead. So sometimes they make it halfway out of the egg and just they don't make it. I don't know what the reason is, but yeah. So if they don't come out completely on their own, then they're probably not meant to, make it anyways. Which
Another crazy thing that I've had happen is totally fine, but it scared the shit out of me, was when they come out with the egg sac still attached to their
oh
belly and it
yeah,
hasn't fully detached. I was like, what the hell? I just produced all these deformed dragons. Like they got a
Yeah.
third leg coming out, like their stomachs are out of their, and then, yeah, obvious it. The best way I can say to take care of that is dampen a paper towel, put it them in the container with a
Yeah,
damp
they'll absorb
paper
it.
towel, and just let them run around. That will absorb and fall off, and then they obviously get their little belly button, like every other bearded dragon, right in the middle of their belly. You just can't ever see it. So, don't worry about that if that ever happens. Just like I said, keep them nice and moist
Yep.
and let it kind of just fall off on its own. It'll happen. Usually it happens when they're born, like, within day 60 to 65. The later incubation or the later hatch dates, usually they're fully absorbed and ready to come out.
Yeah, typically.
So, day one, you got your
Yeah.
eggs hatching. What do you do?
Wait. So okay. So when they hatch, I typically don't take out the babies until 99% of them are hatched out. If one of them isn't hatched out or two of them isn't hatched out, I'm like, all right, cool. I'll take out most of the babies so they're not sitting in the incubator. But I have left babies in the incubator for like 24 hours, which it's fine. Um, and then so what I do is I soak them in a nice warm bath, try to get all that vermiculite or whatever substrate you use off of them, get them all nice and clean, check everybody, make sure nobody has any deformities, anything missing, anything double, anything triple, you know what I mean? Once everybody's good, I get their tub set up. I do everything in tubs. And the first day, I'll do paper towels or no substrate, and just kind of watch them for the first day or so. Typically, they don't eat right out of the egg. It takes about a day or so for them to eat. Um, so I don't offer food the first couple days, and then after like the third day, I'll go ahead and offer some like lesser mealworms or like really small crickets or really small phoenix worms. And once one eats, they kind of all start eating, and that's how I get the first week kind of going like that. That's what I do. What about you?
So, day one, I woke up. I seen some hatchlings. More than likely, unless the whole clutch has hatched, I leave everything in for the first 24 hours.
Yeah.
I use that 24 hours to get a cage ready, make
Yep.
sure that temperatures are right. Usually, I want that basking spot about 110 with a cool spot about 90. So I work on that with some egg crates, and then day two. So we're at 24 hours of being alive. I'll put them, take them out of the vermiculite. I'll bring them in, kind of rinse everybody off, get them on a damp paper towel, put them in the container with the wet paper towel, all inside the cage, and let them just kind of, leave the box as they please. And then I usually don't offer food until day three. If you're on the East Coast, like Josh, uh, you're definitely gonna probably have to do crickets, pinheads, and stuff like that to supplement with lesser mealworms, small phoenixes. If you're on the West Coast like me, I do not recommend using crickets if you don't have to, just because they're nasty and mean to your baby bearded dragons.
Yeah, savages.
They will nip and bite at your baby bearded dragons. Like crickets are ruthless.
Yeah,
So I usually try to do dubia, small phoenix worms, lesser mealworms,
baby
stuff
super.
like that. Yeah, baby supers, anything that I have available that's small baby size. Even if I have to go buy it, if it's available, I'll definitely do it. Um, the lesser worms are like probably top on my list to get before. So once I'm hitting day 55, I start ordering stuff
Yeah,
because I know within the next 6 to 7 days, something's probably going to be hatching and I'm going to be feeding off babies. So I'd say day 55 of in the incubator, start ordering some bugs. Get your lesser mealworms, get your baby dubia, and when I say baby dubia, I mean like get the smallest ones you can get. I think it's like an eighth of an inch or something.
yeah,
Um,
they're like nymphs.
yeah, you really want the smallest ones, and it's cheap. It's not going to cost you a lot. It's probably like $50 or less for 1,000 at a time. If you're over here on the West Coast, so that would be the way I would recommend. Crickets still are a good way to go. The only thing I recommend is cleaning out the cage to make sure before you turn the lights off that all the crickets are out of the cage. Don't let the baby sleep with the crickets. That's the only thing I recommend. Crickets still, a good way to gut load. They'll eat anything, so you could get lots of good gut loading for them. Yeah, eat each other too. Uh, so I'm not knocking crickets, but if you can get away from it, I would try to
I
go
recommend
any
that
other
too.
route.
But we're in Florida, so kind of limited.
Yeah. All right. Now you've had your baby bearded dragons. We're talking 6 to 8 weeks. It's time to sell. What weight are you looking to hit before you want to get rid of them?
So it depends. Am I shipping them or they're doing are from local? So if I'm shipping them, I like 16 grams is ideal for shipping them. But some dragons, I'll let them go at 13, 14, anything over 10. I'll be willing to ship them, but I prefer 16 grams, like a 16 gram. Like I'll show you a difference between. I think most people ship dragons once they're like, I don't know, like anything over 7 grams, right? Is that what you would agree with? Or what would you think of in a?
Yeah, I mean,
I've received dragons at 5 grams.
so I
So I
the
don't recommend
smallest
that.
dragon
But
I ever shipped was last year at 9 grams. She was a twin of another
yeah,
dragon. They both hatched out of one egg, so she was easily close to 2 months old and was only 9 grams, but crushing food. And I was like, all right. Um,
yeah,
I
there
took
there
the
are some
risk,
occasions.
but yeah.
Typically, I like 16 grams. So I'll show you what a 16 gram or maybe a little bit more. So this girl, she's like 6.5, 7 weeks old. She's probably between 15 and 20 grams. So look, so this is what a 16 gram or a little bit more dragon would be like versus a, let me see, versus what a, come here, you little psychos. This guy's probably, let me think. What are you? This guy's probably one of the bigger ones of this clutch or this girl. Come here, you little psycho. Um, and this would probably be what a, I don't know, 10 gram baby would look like. They're only about they were probably 2 weeks apart, and you see the difference in size. So where did she go? I'll show you guys the difference. And these are full sisters to each other. So just one is from the first clutch, one is from the second clutch. So what 2 weeks can do to ship? I mean, like a week or so can do to
Yeah, because they grow fast in the first
difference.
8 to 10 weeks.
Yeah,
Like, realistically, if you're looking for a great turnaround rate on shipping, I would say 8 to 10 weeks. If if you got someone that really wants, your dragon and they're willing to pay for it and everything, and the temperatures are cool, easily 9 to 10 grams is cool to ship. I have seen, like you said, the little 5 grammers, but
I've
man, that
received
would
a
be
five
so
gram dragon.
risky. Yeah,
I've
that would be
received a,
I would be scared.
and he didn't make it. So I mean, you know,
Yeah,
puts a
that's a
puts a bitter
stressful
taste.
situation.
It puts a bitter. So I'll show you how I received them. These guys, my G stripe clutch are probably around 5 grams, probably 5 or 6 grams. And look how small these guys are.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So again, waiting an extra week or so doesn't really, in my opinion, doesn't really make a difference for me. You know what I mean? But yeah, I received babies. I received one baby. He was a hypotrans, and he was 5 grams when I got him, and he lasted like a week. He just never thrived at all. So I don't
So
recommend
remember
it.
that, guys, when you guys are shipping or when you guys are trying to get a dragon from anybody,
Yeah.
and don't rush the process, and make
No.
sure that that dragon is 100% ready to go. It's gonna make it to your doorstep thriving, and you're going to be able to have, you know, an awesome pet or an awesome breeder, and it's not going to pass away on you. Bearded dragons aren't going nowhere, man. You know, there's plenty of people out there that want them. If you're trying to breed them, go ahead. You know, just don't rush the process. Be patient.
No.
Uh, there's plenty of morphs that you can work with. Not everybody like Josh likes to work with G stripes and citrus, and you know those are some of his favorite. That might I've seen people that literally only give a shit about dragons that are red. Don't
Yeah.
care about blue bars, don't care about dunners, don't care about leatherback. If it's red, it's the best. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
People
And
always ask me about it too. Like, hey, are you gonna breed? I had somebody ask me today, like, hey, do you have any zero bearded dragons? And I said, no, I don't. Not that I would never, but I don't know. I feel like everybody is breeding that, and this season is gonna be there's gonna be a lot of zeros and weros and whiplets. So I just nobody, no matter you ask anybody that has dragons, they're always gonna like citruses and reds, no matter what the new trend is. It's like when Dunner came out, everybody wanted a Dunner, but everybody also wanted reds too and citruses. So that's why I like. Not saying I would never work with zeros or weros or whiplets or whatever, but I don't know. I just like again, and certain things I'm like an extremist. I like the old fashioned stuff. And back in the day, there was only really red dragons. That was the thing is red, so or citrus.
so my big thing too is like taking on a project and then being like super passionate about it. So like I talk about the patternless reds. So what I'm gonna
Super.
do this year, and I probably won't even produce what I want for 4 to 5 years.
What's going on,
Um,
Jay?
but I want to breed my male whiplets to two very red females to produce red females that are het for whiplets, and
Hundred
then
percent.
breed, yeah, 100% hets that are red, and then breed those reds to a red male that is het for whiplets, and produce what I hope to be red whiplets dragons, which would be
Yeah.
red patternless. But you heard all those steps. I got to produce the heads. I got to raise the heads up. That's a
It'll
year
be
and a
two,
half to
three,
two
two,
years.
3 years. Yeah.
Then breed them to a male to produce in maybe 3 years. What would be my goal, and then raise that up. So at
Yep.
the end of the day, and then breed her lines into more red dragons, and then you know that was where the line breeding would come in. She's red. I want to put more red in the bloodline, make some more hets from a red dragon to a red dragon. You know, then I
Yeah.
strengthen up those line breeding, the red in the bloodlines. So it it just goes on, man. And as as my collection gets bigger, I get more and more ambitious about other things too. It's not just the bearded dragons. You know, I want to breed my Savannah eventually. That'd be super
So
cool.
yes.
Um, to have a captive bred Savannah monitor, and that's not even like to sell those babies would probably be like 20-25 bucks if someone wanted to
No,
buy those babies.
no, you would get more than that because they're captive. You get more.
All right, yeah, so,
You
but
get more.
what I'm saying is there's not a ton of money in that, but that would be
Yeah, but yeah,
fucking
there's no. Yeah,
awesome. You know, at
yeah.
the end of the day, that's fucking a little badge on my Boy Scouts cut
I could
right
probably
there.
count. I could probably count on my hands how many people that I've heard or known that have bred Savannah monitors in captivity, the right way, like that have gotten two captives. I mean, have gotten two wild caughts, whatever, and then bred them and had 100% captive bred Savannahs. Most of them are wild caught adults that lay fertile eggs in captivity. So it's hard.
Yeah, so you'll see captive born, but
Yeah, not
captive
bred
bred and
and
born
born. Yeah,
are is what you want. So some people, when you see CB under it, that just means it was captive born. So they wild caught the animal, or they found the eggs in the wild and then they hatched them in captivity. They did
yeah,
not. CBB, which is captive bred and born, which they bred in captivity, saw them, you know, in their care
yep.
do the deed, lay the eggs, and they
Yeah,
collected
there's a
them.
guy. There's a guy that I'm on a bunch of Santa monitor groups. His name is Dean. I forget his last name, but he's one of the ones that have actively produced Savannah's, and like his pair has produced in his house. You know what I mean? So, and it's pretty cool seeing how they come out of the egg. And I think their incubation is like 100 days or something, right? Something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, they're super fucking cute though when they come out. They're
Yeah,
like the cutest little things, and they're a little bit bigger than bearded dragons. It's just man.
yeah,
So in anything that I can breed at the end of the day and produce something, that's amazing to me.
for sure.
The bearded dragons definitely I'm more into with the morphs because at the end of the day I want to breed, badass high-end bearded dragons. I want to produce cool ass shit that nobody else is producing, or just cool ass shit that I can't afford. You know what I mean?
No, sure.
Like I don't want to go pay somebody $1,200 to $1,400 for a Wiro, but I might take a crack at my
Yeah,
whiplets with a trans hypo
yeah,
zero one day. But yeah, I definitely don't see myself cashing out that kind of money though. It'd be awesome to produce something that I personally made the heads for, and then
yeah. Because
in
it's
turn
all in house, literally. I mean,
it's so much
think
more rewarding than that because anybody can just buy something that has the triple hets in it that you need and buy a pair of two triple hets and then
all the
yeah,
work is done. Yeah,
you did nothing.
yeah.
So at the end of the day I think it's cooler to do the whole entire project from start to beginning yourself. I think that's what's amazing.
No, for sure, 100%.
I don't think we got a ton of questions today. I'll scroll up though.
Damn,
If
the
you
hour
guys
flew by. Holy shit.
Yeah, we got 15 minutes. If you guys got any questions, I did see someone wanted to see my cages. I will pan over a little bit.
Hey, and before I forget, earlier we were talking about line breeding and inbreeding, all that stuff. What me and Redzone were explaining was selective breeding. Line breeding is when you take anything out of the immediate circle. So, for example, like you would breed dad to great granddaughter kind of thing. That would be line breeding because you're in the line still. And selective breeding is what we and him are talking about when you have two of the most red dragons that aren't related together. So I just want to clarify that before anybody thinks
True,
we're
yeah, yeah.
what.
Because line breeding, like,
Because
that's when
I
you
was
could
sitting here,
breed.
I was sitting here thinking about it, and I
Yeah,
was
they
like,
do that
wait,
shit with dogs all the time, and people talk
well,
about it. Because
no,
you could
and
do,
yeah, and that's why because we breed French bulldogs, and that term gets line breeding gets uh confused a lot with inbreeding, which
because it's what? It's
it's
father
it's
to
kind of
daughter,
it's so
but you
okay
can't
in
do mother to son, right?
so inbreeding is when you breed anything in the immediate circle. So if you breed anything with mother, daughter, son, or dad, like any kind of those, that combination is inbreeding, and anything out of that circle is called line breeding. And then what me and you were talking about is selective breeding, when you select a certain trait with another certain trait to get that exact trait. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. So don't line breed, don't inbreed, just
Well,
selective breeding.
in certain cases, if you're doing dogs and stuff like that, you can line breed. But when it comes to dragons, I don't think it's worth it. But yeah,
So with line breeding, if I breed my male whiplets to two females and then their offspring breed, since they have the same father but two different females, is that line breeding?
yeah, because it's within the same line. So pretty much, I mean, from
But
what I understand,
they only share one father. So does that matter? Instead of sharing both mother and father, and then father to his own offspring.
I'm trying to get the actual definition, but like of what would be. I think that was considered line breeding because you're within the same line. But so I know selective breeding is when like they're not. Matter of fact, I'll Google the definition right now. Hold on.
Well, great. Now
'Cause-
I'm gonna have to buy two whipletses so that I don't
hold
have
on,
to
hold on,
fucking.
hold on.
So I'm not
Because I was
inbreeding
sitting there
over here.
thinking, and I'm like, wait, I think we fucked that thing up. Hold on.
God
Hold on.
damn it! The whole podcast is fucked now. Now we're gonna scratch
Hey,
it. You guys. We're gonna do Dragon Talk Tuesday night live. We're just gonna scratch this one.
hey. So it says, okay, selective breeding is the process by which humans use animal breeding and plant breeding to select to I can't say that word. Anyways,
Segregate.
no, selectively develop particular phenotype traits by choosing which typical animal or plant males and females will sexually reproduce and have offspring. So yeah, so pretty much is that's what we were calling line breeding earlier. And then the definition of line breeding is like I said, anything outside of the immediate circle. So the selective breeding of animals for a desired feature by mating them with a closely related line. So closely related, and then inbreeding. Just to clarify, I was thinking about that. So inbreeding is typically defined as the mating of animals more closely related than the average relationship within the breed or population concerned.
So
With
it's
two,
probably directly related. So inbreeding would be same mother, father. Line breeding would be just mother or just father, right?
yeah. So like, okay, so line breeding, like I said, would be like grandfather to granddaughter, like that. So it'd be within the same line, but just kind of farther apart. And then inbreeding is closer apart. Does that make sense?
Yeah. All
So
right, guys.
just
If you guys got
clarify that to everybody.
any other questions, you want to fact check us before we, get off this and ruin the rest of the podcast for us, we'll go back and answer your guys' questions. We appreciate you guys always coming in, of course, and definitely checking on what we got going on. We are trying to make this super informational for all of you guys who don't know. There is not a lot of bearded dragon information out there. It's super hard to find any information from
Yeah, like
now, I should
not
say,
100 years old.
within the decade. All the information you see is 5 years old, 6 years old. So we're trying to bring, all the bearded dragon information into the 21st century.
Yeah,
If
and
you,
let me just tell you. With that being said, I'm not a professional. I'm not gonna speak for him, but we will make mistakes like today. When in my head, I'm thinking of selective breeding, but also line breeding as well, because with the Frenchie, with the dogs world, that is a thing. So, but when it comes to the bearded dragons, you don't want, and same thing with the gliders, you don't want anything close related whatsoever at all, in my opinion. So, just to clarify that for everybody that
yeah,
sees this
no, for
later on.
sure. I don't recommend breeding anything closely either. Um, we'll go over the questions.
For sure.
You guys are asking about these things. All right,
Yes, sir.
that
Nice.
is not a poop. That's calcium. So everyone, don't be ragging on me for dirty cages right now. It's a bunch of calcium. Look at this badass citrus female. Look at her. She was all fired up. Fuck, you guys aren't ready for her this year. You guys are not ready for what she's about to drop. So we got her. Then we got this. Oh, she fired up too. Look at him. She's orange. She got some little bars. For some reason, though, she produces a ton of bars.
Yeah, it's just one of those things, man. Like I was saying,
Juvenile, I got.
those
Oh,
are 36, right? Not 4 foot.
yes, 36 by 18 by 18s. Got this
Yeah, I
red
just ordered
female.
8 of them myself.
My Whipblitz male. My red import female.
She's a trans, right?
Yeah, trans
Yeah,
het
hypo.
hypo.
Yeah.
Bro, I put calcium in this cage. These two destroyed it. Like they took a bath in the calcium. Fucking
Do
retards.
you feed bulls or no bulls?
Nah, no bulls. Well, at least right now, I've only fed twice in these enclosures. So
Yeah.
yeah, I got this trans het hypo female to a hypo het trans G-stripe male. I got this guy, this pretty girl,
Yeah, she
chilling.
needed her calcium too. Look at her.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pull them all out tonight. Soak everybody.
Oh, he's handsome.
Yeah, that's a KP Critters bloodline.
Yeah, he's handsome. Boy or girl?
Boy.
That's what I figured. He looks like a male.
Okay.
I can see
Yeah,
it in
there
his
you
eyes.
go. Now he's showing up better.
No, yeah, he's a handsome boy.
All right, guys, stop bugging me about the cages. You guys saw them now.
I'll
Uh,
find in like 100 days, 100 weeks.
dude, it's definitely worth it though. You'll love it.
No, sure.
Someone said that can I join? I have a question. You can't really join when we're already live, bud. Ask your question next time in the comments, and we'll definitely get back to that and answer them for you. As a breeder, do you guys test your breeding pairs for parasites and adenoviruses before actually breeding them. So depends. If I produced them, no. If I bought them, usually I have all that done. Um, like I quarantine them and I'll run all those tests before
Yeah.
I even introduce them to any of my dragons. So before they're bathing with any of my dragons, before they're eating around any of my dragons, I definitely test them for that ahead of time, way before I even think about breeding.
Especially
So,
imports.
yeah, definitely imports. So
For
I
sure.
mean, that was really the only question we had. That's crazy. Surprised more people weren't. Actually, we have one more topic to get into. Um, I mean, it's we're already on it, but shipping. So when you're
Oh yeah.
shipping your reptiles, um, I personally use reptiles to you.
So do I.
They'll save you a ton of fucking money if you don't know now. You just got plugged the fuck up.
Yeah, no, reptiles to you has been perfect to me. I actually just got done shipping a dragon out today.
Um, so what do you use in your enclosure? So I now that I use reptile to you. I ordered all their gear on there. It's super cheap. But when I originally got into it, I was using U-line insulated boxes and just cutting the holes myself. Um,
Yeah.
a little bit more expensive, but uh, so heat packs, temps, like what are you looking for when you're getting dragons ready to go out?
So I was talking about this with somebody earlier, the other day. So I don't like to ship dragons in, preferably anything under 40. I would prefer 40s and up to ship with a heat pack. We use these uni heat packs. We either have the 40 or the 72-hour ones. And then I use Reptiles to you to ship, but I buy my boxes through Reptiles Express because sometimes they run little deals or whatever. And I also get my deli cups that I ship dragons out with. But yeah, I just get these are like for like babies or hatchlings. These little 7 by 7 boxes, or the 12 by 9 by 6 boxes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the one I used, the 12 by 9 by 6.
yeah. I just keep it simple. I have one already pre ready. I have either a reptile bag or a deli cup, and then I like to use what's it called, like wrapping paper. I have my drawer right here, my shipping wrapping paper, and I'll use a little bit of like these little tizzle or whatever just to give it like a nice little presentation. And then we also add a, which I just got these in, just a like a thank you card for on top. And then these are also the deli cups that we use just for like babies or whatever, um, or bugs whenever I sell bugs. Yeah, that's how I do it. I just do it really simple and easy.
Nice. Yeah, I don't sell anything too big, so I don't use the bags. Usually just a deli cup with a napkin in there for him to hold on to so he's not getting slung around in the deli cup in
Yep.
shipment. And then I just use newspaper on the side of his cages, make sure there's holes in the boxes. And usually I try not to use heat packs or anything like that. If I do have to, like obviously the East Coast is way different than us, and I have shipped a couple dragons all the way that way, but I try to keep it in the warmer months. I
For sure.
do most of my shipping. I try to get out of the way, and then by the colder season, if I still have a ton of dragons, I will start local wholesaling before I start shipping too many out. I just don't. I personally get worried about it. I actually had one dragon take 2 days to show up to
Yeah.
someone, and I was having like a panic attack the whole time. Thankfully, someone went out to the tarmac. They brought the dragon in. Um, it also happened to be like the height of crop season here in California. So uh, she, the person that received the dragon, did let me know that they had opened the box, and she was like, when I opened it and received it, it smelled very good, and I was like, oh my god, like I just got off at work. and I
Yeah.
just packed this thing, so my hands probably, I don't know, whatever I got off of work. If you guys don't know, I work in the cannabis industry, so we grow medical cannabis and recreational cannabis. Um, so I just got done taking down a room. I packed this box. I shipped it. They I'm assuming thought, I was shipping some weed instead of a
Yeah.
reptile, so they,
Yeah.
just double checked the box, which thankfully, they brought it in, they kept it warm, so that was cool. Um, Everything was safe. I wasn't shipping her any weed, so she got the dragon on time. Everything was safe. Ended up working out really cool, but yeah, for the most part, I really just try to ship during those warmer times of the year, so I don't have to worry about that too much.
Yeah, it's definitely stressful. Like I have a dragon right now in transit, going to New York or New Jersey. It's not too cold, but I put a 70. I think they're 72-hour heat packs just in case she gets stuck. She gets stuck in transit. But yeah, I mean, I prefer not to ship stuff when it's cold outside. But if it's a kind of a straight uh, connect with, and typically I don't have any layovers in New York or anything like that or any issues, so I'll package them up really nice, have a nice heat pack with some holes on the side, and I haven't had any issues so far, but stuff does happen because once the animal leaves my care, I have no control over what happens. All I have control over is packing it properly with adequate either heat or ventilation holes, and how I package it either in bags or deli cups. So, you know,
Yeah, man, and I can't stress how much. So when you're shipping something, put your sticker on the outside with live animal and fragile. You guys see these beautiful cages I got? Uh, Dragon Haas hooked it up. He had fragile labels on the outside, and I don't know if UPS just fucking figured, all right, this box is 35 pounds. It can't be that fucking fragile. Throwing my shit all around. I was getting it boxes, corners were ripped open.
yeah,
Um,
care,
I
bro.
did have a couple pieces of these cool pieces um, that were broken but he, ended up overnighting me those overnight. I got them the next day,
Nice.
screwed them all in myself, so everything looks great again. But yeah, Mark, put as much on the outside as you can to stress. Be careful with that package because I've seen like how bugs get it, like live
Oh,
insects. They're like, oh my God, here, take this, and it's like, bro, chill out. It's in a box. It's taped up. It's not gonna get you. Like,
I just
oh,
shipped Jay's Reptilife 100 discoids, and dude, the box came smashed, like almost flat on one side. And luckily most of them were good, but yeah, and I wrote feeder insects or feeder roaches with my stickers on it all over, and still, dude, I mean, some people just don't care,
yeah.
and it doesn't help that they were roaches too. So that also
It,
doesn't help.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous that they do not care about what you put in those boxes sometimes. So definitely
Nope.
try to put, as much marking on the outside. And I have noticed when you put like a company or something that they tend to write up front. Okay, so
Yeah.
most stuff is in the back, but that's just a little tip. I don't know if it's gonna work with every guy. That's just usually here in California what I've noticed when I've received something.
Yep.
But
Florida too.
thank you guys so much for another wonderful Monday. Dragon Talk was great. I hope today was very informational with your guys' breeding season this year. I hope we help you guys pick out some new pairs. Definitely let us know. Drop us a DM if you guys liked what we were spitting out today. If
For
you
sure.
guys liked all the information, give Josh a DM. Let him know how good his incubator looks because I'm not going to show you guys mine.
Yeah. Any
But
questions or concerns?
yes, please. If you guys like what we're doing, support us. See us next week. Tell all your friends. We will be uploading this to YouTube, so check us out on Redzone Reptiles YouTube channel. You will see Dragon Talk episode 5, and we will put a little description, what this was about, shipping and breeding. So, again, if you guys like the channel, tune in next Monday and have a great night. Thank you guys for checking us out.
Have a good one.